Today, we're going to tell you some stories that are genuinely unsettling. These are real experiences people have shared, things that happened to them that honestly sound like they're straight out of a nightmare.
And that's the key, isn't it? They're real. These accounts come from the YouTube channel Mr. Nightmare, where people recount these, well, deeply disturbing events.
Exactly. Not fiction. These things apparently happened. So our first story takes us to Branson, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, near an old abandoned theme park called Celebration City. It shut down way back in 2008.
I think I remember hearing about that place. Had a sort of old-timey America theme.
That's the one. 20th century America. It used to open later in the day, afternoon and evening, had laser shows, fireworks. The person telling the story actually had childhood memories of going there.
Right, so it was a familiar place, but now abandoned. Those places have a specific kind of creepiness.
For sure. So this narrator, one evening around 7 p.m., decided to go explore it with a friend, Calvin. They parked nearby at a Steak and Shake, I think, and just walked over.
And getting in.
Surprisingly easy, they said. Just slipped right in, immediately hit by how eerie it was. Seeing familiar buildings, but totally empty. Silent, except for crickets.
That silence where there should be noise, it's always unsettling.
Totally. They saw signs of other people having been there, graffiti, that kind of thing. But lots of props and stuff were still just left behind. Wow.
So they found this place called the Last Chance Diner, got in through a broken window, inside, super dark, really creepy.
And probably smelled weird, those old places often do.
Well, yeah, especially the bathroom. That's where it got really strange. The narrator mentioned this odd smell and saw 3 closed stall doors. It was dark in there.
Okay.
Then they heard it like a small sound, something dropping onto the floor.
Oh, okay. Not alone then.
They called out, "Hello," or something.
Yeah.
Nothing. So feeling, pretty freaked out, they bent down and looked under the cell doors, saw 3 pairs of shoes, 3 sets of legs just standing there in the stalls.
Just standing there. Silent. Yeah. And then 1 pair of legs moved. Like whoever it was bent down as if they were trying to look back under the stall door at the narrator.
Okay, nope. That's terrifying. Absolutely not.
Right? Pure nightmare fuel. They scrambled out of there fast. Tried explaining to Calvin what they saw. He's like, "Are you sure?"
I mean, it sounds unbelievable.
It does. But the narrator was so insistent about the movement, the kneeling down. Calvin got spooked too. They just got out of the park into the total darkness outside. And, never went back.
I wouldn't either. Who were they? Why were they hiding in there? Just unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Leaves you wondering. Okay, so the next account is different, but just as unsettling. It involves strange things happening at home.
The place you're supposed to feel safest.
Exactly. This story is from a woman about 30, living alone. Sort of a mid to lower income area, she said. Didn't really know her neighbors across the street well. As she admitted, living alone made her a bit anxious sometimes.
That's understandable. You feel a bit more vulnerable.
It started small. Late one night, she heard leaves crunching right outside her house. Like someone walking.
Could be anything, I guess. Animals, wind.
Maybe. But the next night, a single distinct tap on her window frame.
Okay, that's more specific. Less easily explained away.
Yeah. She instinctively called out, "Who's there?" Looked, saw nothing.
Still unsettling, though. That feeling of being watched or tested.
Then, the third night, it got worse. She woke up to a sound from the backyard. A scratching or scraping?
Oh, no.
Then, near her sliding glass door, she heard this clicking sound. Persistent clicking.
Like someone trying to.
Maybe, but the really weird part, as soon as she turned on the light in the living space, the clicking stopped. Instantly.
Whoa. Okay, that implies intention. Someone reacting to the light. That's not random.
Her thought, exactly. She was terrified, but she cautiously opened the sliding door a crack. Saw no one. But then she heard rustling in a thick bush in her small yard.
Close by.
Very close. She slammed the door shut, locked everything tight, double-checked it all. Then, later that night, a knock at the front door.
Late at night. After all that.
Yeah, late, unexpected. She just froze and didn't answer it, way too scared.
Smart move. Absolutely the right call.
The next day, she called her brother. They went and bought a doorbell camera, some security cameras too. He helped her install them.
Good. Taking precautions.
He even stayed over that night, just for peace of mind. And it's a good thing he did, because later that night, the motion detection alert went off on her phone.
Oh, God. The cameras caught something.
They did. She looked at the video feed. Someone was at her back door, trying to pick the lock.
No way. Caught red-handed on camera?
Exactly. She screamed, her brother jumped up, they yelled, made noise, trying to scare the person off.
Did it work?
Yeah, but the person ran off. But they were wearing a hood, dark clothes, gloves. Couldn't see who it was at all.
Completely concealed.
They called the police, filed a report. Nothing like it happened again after that, thankfully.
Well, thank goodness for that.
But the fear, right. She was left with this horrible thought. What if it was a neighbor? Someone who saw her, knew she lived alone, and was, watching her routine.
That's the worst part. The possibility of the threat being so close, part of your everyday environment, it really shakes your sense of security.
It really does. Okay, one more story for you. This one is particularly invasive.
Okay, I'm bracing myself.
It's from a 23-year-old woman. Her parents were divorced, and her father dealt in real estate, so her mother had a couple of houses. This woman often stayed alone at one of them.
So, familiar with the house, comfortable being alone there usually.
Yeah, exactly. She felt fine there normally. The house had 2 main floors with the kitchen, living room, bedrooms, plus a basement. 3 different entrances.
Lots of ways in and out.
Right. So the weirdness started subtly again. Over several weeks, she noticed her clothes going missing.
Like laundry going astray, or?
No, specific items she knew she hadn't lost. Shirts, other things. She'd call her mom, ask if she'd borrowed them. Nope. Searched everywhere, couldn't find them.
Huh. That's odd. Annoying, but maybe explainable. Friends borrowing, misplacing.
That's what she thought at first. Maybe friends grabbed something, she decided to just let it go, couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
Then one evening, she's in her bedroom, watching a movie, had the window open, fan on for air. Suddenly, her bedroom door just swings closed.
Yeah, with the fan and window open, maybe a draft.
That was her first thought, just a weird draft. But then, she heard a sound from the hallway outside her room.
After the door closed on its own. Okay, less likely to be a draft now.
Yeah. She felt brave, maybe a little foolish, she said later, but she went to check it out. Looked around the upstairs living room, kitchen. Nothing seemed out of place.
Right.
But then she noticed the basement door. It was just slightly ajar.
The basement.
Yep. And the light switch for the basement was one of those pull strings right at the top of the stairs. The basement itself wasn't really used much. Had an old couch, TV, some workout stuff, a little room with a punching bag, and several closet doors. Plus a crawl space closet.
A crawl space, those are always creepy.
Tell me about it. She said neither she nor her mom went down there much. So she pulls the light string, looks around the dim basement, and then she sees it. Out of the corner of her eye.
What?
The door to that crawl space closet, it moved. Just slightly.
Oh, chills. Literal chills, no.
She froze. Mm-hmm. And then an arm reached out from the darkness inside the crawl space.
An ARM.
An arm reached out and pulled the crawl space door shut.
Get out! Just get out of there!
She did, but quietly. She didn't scream, didn't run loudly. She backed away, went straight upstairs, grabbed her phone and called 911. Reported a stranger in the house, in the basement.
Wow, okay, that presence of mind under pressure is incredible. Quiet retreat, call police. Smart.
Seriously, the police got there fast. Lights on, but no sirens, trying to be quiet too. She met them, explained, and they went down into the basement with her.
Must have been terrifying going back down there.
Can you imagine? They approached the crawlspace closet. Police ordered whoever was inside to come out. The door opened. Slowly. And this man steps out, bald, maybe in his 50s, and he was wearing one of the narrator shirts.
Oh my god, wearing her missing clothes.
Yes. And when the police looked inside the crawl space, they found a whole bunch of her stuff, her mom's stuff too, mostly clothes, piled in there. And the smell, overwhelming smell of urine.
He was living in there.
Yeah.
In the crawl space, wearing their clothes. That is profoundly disturbing.
Beyond disturbing, there wasn't any sign of forced entry to the house itself, aside from maybe stains in the crawl space, but he had their belongings. He was charged with third-degree burglary.
Burglary doesn't even seem to cover the violation of that. Living in someone's walls, essentially.
Right. She and her mom were just disgusted, obviously. They told the police to just keep the clothes. They didn't want anything back that he'd had in there.
I don't blame them one bit.
And the narrator realized afterward she'd probably been leaving the side door unlocked sometimes. Just an oversight. But, yeah, terrifying lesson learned.
Wow. A small oversight with massive, terrifying consequences.
Just whack. So, yeah. 3 stories. Each one is just unsettling in its own way, isn't it?
Absolutely. They really highlight how vulnerable we can be, even in places we think are totally safe. Your home, a familiar park.
Yeah, the unexpected can just intrude. It makes you think about The things you don't see, the potential for things to go wrong so suddenly.
That feeling of security being, maybe more fragile than we like to think. It's a chilling thought to carry with you.
It really is. Well, thank you for joining us today as we recounted these genuinely unsettling true stories.
We hope they gave you something to think about, maybe resonated in some way. Stay aware out there.
Definitely. And if you found these stories as compelling and frankly creepy as we did, please do us a favor. Like this, share it, and subscribe to the Horror Docs channel. We'll be bringing you more real accounts from the darker side of things.
Until next time, stay safe.